All right, yes, indeed. Well, going back to Buja Studios, where the immediate past Minister of Health, he only did that yesterday, the handover. Thank you for joining us and for hanging on today on Sunrise Daily. Well, yes, congratulations. Several people have said this is what can happen when we pull our resources together as a country. But I also did say previously that you have always said we shouldn't drop the ball. We're not about to do that, are we?
No, we're not about to do that.
No, we're not about to do that. Let me join you in saying congratulations to all Nigerians. But the battle is won, but the war is not yet won. And we must even now be even more on the alert. For me, it's great to succeed, but it's even more difficult to stay on top of that success. So Nigerians, congratulations. We've shown the world we can do it. The world is now eager to learn from Nigeria. We've set the standard. But please, 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 we still need to be vigilant. All those things we taught you, all those things we agreed we must do, enhanced personal hygiene, enhanced sanitation, alertness at our ports of entry, seaports, land crossings, airports. And when people are sick, please make sure you go to a proper hospital. We must continue to do all this.
Because at that time, there were several reports that the world were, certain countries were sending people to the country to come and see how we did it here. But you've had several meetings with experts in the health sector about this same one. And at the time, you were talking about developing vaccines to ensure that that is also made available to us. Where are we about that meeting?
Well, that meeting held, remember that it was during the outbreak, as soon as we had the outbreak, that I inaugurated a treatment research group for Ebola virus disease. And they've been working, they've been collecting claims from various Nigerians, scientists and others alike, and they are trying to verify them. Now, that high-level meeting was also attended by Nigerians in diaspora, eminent Nigerian scientists, some of them working at very high-level, prestigious US and European centers. Now, what has happened is that they have selected a number of claims that they think are worth researching into, and they are beginning to develop the protocol for research. But also, at the global level, Nigeria also decided to join the rest of the world under the auspices of the World Health Organization, countries where some vaccine candidates already identified would have clinical trials on those vaccine candidates. So we have said that Nigeria is willing to be part of it, and therefore I think we should expect that in months to come, clinical trials will also go on in Nigeria. So it's a double-barrel approach. We are trying to do things within country. We're also collaborating with the international community because that's the only way to go. There must be a vaccine if the world is ever to hope that it can lay this Ebola virus disease in terms of being able to combat it at any moment to lay it to rest. Without a vaccine, it may be difficult. If we can't get a vaccine, then we should have a specific drug developed that can be effective against the virus whenever anybody develops it. So that is the ultimate goal, and Nigeria is part of it.
Here is that an immediate, broad-based and well-coordinated response can actually stop this in its track, and they say that is what Nigeria did, and even its sister nation, Senegal, they stopped Ebola in its track. And you say we can actually sustain all of this. Perhaps we can keep talking about it, never too early to be on this particular one. In some of our airports and schools, we have seen what the government and those agencies have been doing. What more can we do to put this out of our countries and even the continent and the world to put out Ebola?
Well, one, within the country, we are strengthening what we already have. Presently, we are conducting training for those who will walk through temperature detectors. In the next less than 2 weeks or so, we'll be mounting walk through temperature detectors at all our international airports. We are going to be screening both outbound and inbound because Nigeria is teaching the world the proper thing to do. Every country of the world has the responsibility to also screen outbound passengers to ensure that no case is missed out. So we are doing that not because we have any disease, any active disease. The WHO has finally declared us in the formal way that we are totally free of Ebola virus disease. No other country in the world as of today has that kind of certification. But what we also appealing to other countries is please screen outbound passengers, not just protecting your own territory, but also protect the rest of the global community. Then second, we are still strengthening our laboratories. Currently, Ebola virus disease can be diagnosed in 6 laboratories in Nigeria. And we are still doing more. We have recently ordered 3 mobile laboratories so that it will be easy when people have a suspected case, when physicians have suspected cases, to be able to send specimen for quick diagnosis. We are still doing training. There's ongoing training of health professionals. We are sensitizing everyone. Even the media. I want to use this opportunity to thank the media. They've done well. Channels was marvelous. NTA, all of you, wonderful guys. Please keep it up. That is the way to go. It was a joint effort. And still the media is still going on, sponsoring messages. They are not asking anyone to pay. They are doing it as part of national service and the public interest. Now, there's no way the war can be fought and we'll celebrate that we've won the war. We'll be winning battles unless the world, as recently decided by United Nations, will go to countries that are still having cases and fight the battle together, just like what was done during the Second World War. This is battle, just like we are fighting a virus. We are not fighting people with guns. This is a more terrible war. So we need, because other people, you can see a soldier approaching you. You can't see this virus unless you have an electron microscope. So it appears we may be fighting something that is unseen, and therefore it's a greater battle than the ordinary weaponry battle. Now Nigeria is ready. We have a little over 600 health workers who are volunteered, fully trained, ready to move. But Nigeria would not move unless under the auspices of the United Nations, because the number one critical factor in the success of Nigeria was leadership and coordination and teamwork. So if the world does not go and work under United Nations, right now a number of countries have gone into Liberia, gone into Sierra Leone, but working independently, it is a recipe for failure. I've advised the world, they've asked me several times, even as 2-3 days ago, I got calls from the United States asking me to put what I think again in writing. Yes, they heard me loud and clear during the UN General Assembly when I represented Mr. President at the high-level meeting. But they said, please repeat, because we think we need to learn from Nigeria's experience. I'm saying it clearly to everyone, for us to succeed in those countries and win the war against Ebola virus disease, the world should come under the canopy of the United Nations. Luckily, almost every country, apart from a few, are members of United Nations. 2, the technical arm, the men on ground, must be under the field leadership of ECOWAS. Nigeria has already volunteered that our own director of Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Professor Nasiri, we have volunteered that he can lead that technical group. He's a world-class, world-recognized scientist. He has managed many epidemics in Nigeria and outside Nigeria in the past, and is still willing to continue to do so. So these are the strategies. Already Mr. President has approved funds for the Federal Ministry of Health to conduct training for laboratory scientists, epidemiologists, for specific work related to Ebola virus disease control. A 3-week intensive course. Nigeria is the only country with such a training institute in the whole of Africa, and we are offering that also. Mr. President has released funds that will sponsor their training. So Nigeria knows that we need to win the war. Humanity will need to win the war. Like you said, our eyes must remain on the ball. We cannot drop our guard.
Professor Chukwu, some of the things we saw the governments, Lagos, Rivers, as well as the federal government do was a rapid response to the very first case and a rigorous and relentless, search for those who came in contact with him. Now that we know what we did, and you talk about stigmatization and also talk about some amount of loss that that particular hospital has incurred, First Consultant Clinic. Is there anything the federal government is doing to assist the hospital?
Yes, presently that is at the finishing stage. It has gone through the process in government. Because it is government, you don't just spend public funds without input from very particular offices. Where federal government is establishing, going to provide a grant that would assist affected hospitals to recover. Now, for affected hospitals, what we mean are those hospitals that accepted patients, but in the course of their work, they were able to make a diagnosis of Ebola virus disease. Those are hospitals that were able, as soon as they had suspicion of Ebola virus disease or made that diagnosis, reported to the proper public health office, whether at the state level or the national level, and notified the authorities. Those are the hospitals that then cooperated with public health experts to evacuate such patients to a proper isolation ward and cooperated in decontaminating the hospital. So one hospital, like you mentioned, is the First Consultant. I'm very proud of First Consultant. Of course, before then, I already.
Well, so there you have it. What a day has been. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
Well, many thanks. I'm Slyman Alede.
Bye-bye.